Welcome back to another edition of Mr. K on Sports. We are going to now review the Pittsburgh Steelers draft choices. In my last episode, I kind of scoured the Steelers roster and really made some projections about what position groups they may look at. And I have to say the show has gotten a lot of credibility because the top four areas that we looked at, running back, wide receiver, offensive line depth, particularly the interior line, center and guard, as well as the linebacker positions, well, their first four picks, all those areas, all four. So let's start and take a look. Their first pick, which was actually in round two, because they did not have a first round pick, remember, because of the Minkah Fitzpatrick transaction, wide receiver, Notre Dame, Chase Claypool. Claypool is 6'4", 238 pounds. So when we looked at the receivers the Steelers have, he definitely is different. He is a bigger, stronger receiver than they have. He has excellent straight line speed. He can stretch the defense. His weakness is a little bit more the route running. But this made sense for the Steelers to add. They needed a fourth wide receiver, and this guy definitely brings some different things to the table and has a super high upside. So we're looking at Chase Claypool to be added to that receiver group and hopefully make some big plays and an impact this year. Their third-round draft choice was a guy named Alex Highsmith. He's an outside linebacker from Charlotte. And we talked about really needing depth behind T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. And Highsmith seems to fit the bill. 6'3", 248, pass rushing specialist, prototypical Steeler-type outside linebacker, nasty streak, big play guy, gets a lot of tackles for loss. So they will definitely look for him to step up and provide some depth at outside linebacker and perhaps contribute on special teams. Now, the Steelers had two fourth-round picks, and their first fourth-round pick was Anthony McFarland Jr. He is a running back out of Maryland. And this guy, again, is a little different than the running backs that the Steelers currently have on the roster. McFarland's a little smaller at 5'8", 208. So he's built low to the ground, does have some power for being a smaller back, but he is a big play guy with 4.4 speed and can catch the football out of the backfield as well. So a little different style than the Steelers currently have. Could be a guy that comes in and spells the other backs. He's a little quicker and, again, could be used as a pass receiving option out of the backfield. So, again, another guy that could be a weapon, hopefully when Ben Roethlisberger returns. Their other fourth-round pick was a guard, Kevin Dotson, out of Louisiana Lafayette. Dotson, a big guy, 6'4", 313. This is a guy that's a developmental prospect in the interior line. We mentioned that the interior line is short on depth. This will be a guy that they'll work with. He's got a nasty streak to him. He's a really strong run blocker, holds his own in pass protection. His arms are a little short, but I'm sure that the Steelers will look to coach him up and have him gain technique so that eventually he can contribute on that offensive line, but it will probably be a developmental year for him this year. Then the Steelers did not have a fifth-round pick, but in the sixth round, they went with Antoine Brooks Jr. He's a safety, also from Maryland, second player they picked from Maryland this draft. Brooks is a good-sized guy, 5'11", 220, kind of a box safety hybrid linebacker in college. This guy, again, will provide depth. He'll fight to get on the field, maybe in some sub-packages, and will definitely be looked to contribute on special teams. And finally, rounding out the Steeler draft choices in the seventh round was Carlos Davis. He is a 6'2", 313-pound defensive tackle from Nebraska. I will look probably to see the Steelers try him at nose tackle. Again, after the loss of Javon Hargraves, they're a little thin on the interior of the defensive line. So this guy, again, will probably be a developmental player. At best, he'll look to get in on the rotation on the defensive line and develop into someone that may contribute down the line for the Steelers. So again, they definitely very predictably went to provide depth at the positions of need. The last couple picks were guys they liked as developmental prospects or maybe special teamers. And I'd have to say overall, it looks like a pretty solid draft. Now, I wouldn't be an idiot and try to grade this draft because you can't grade drafts for 5 years. But on the surface and on my initial reaction to the draft, I was pleased and think that they did address areas of need depth-wise with some big upside in Claypool, certainly, and McFarland, two guys that might be able to contribute some big plays next year. So thumbs up so far for the Steelers draft. And again, this is Mr. K on Sports. Continue to watch, and I'll have more reports on sports with the Pittsburgh flavor coming at you.